Hey everyone, this is Yosin, and I am the CEO and co-founder of FullDive, and also Every. That is our new project. It's a social web browser that can comment on any web page. This is actually my first YouTube video, and I would like to start a series of informative sessions where I comment on startup related videos that is famous on YouTube, like Sam Altman's Y Combinator. I was actually there on their first startup school, and much more. Maybe book reviews, you name it. Please let me know on what I should comment on, and I will compare and contrast with my experience running my startup in the past 4 years. All right, let's get it going. So in this video, I'm going to comment on this video by Bill Gross. He's a TEDx speaker, and the title is The Single Biggest Reason Why Startups Succeed. And from this video, there's actually five components that makes a startup succeed. So why don't we go inside this video and we watch it together.
I'm really excited to share with you some findings that really surprised me about what makes companies succeed the most. What factors actually matter the most for startup success? I believe that the startup organization is one of the greatest forms to make the world a better place. If you take a group of people with the right equity incentives and organize them in a startup, you can unlock human potential in a way never before possible. You get them to achieve unbelievable things. But if the startup organization is so great, why do so many fail? That's what I wanted to find out. I wanted to find out what actually matters most for startup success. So I tried to look across what factors accounted the most for company success and failure. So I looked at these five. First, the idea. I used to think that the idea was everything. I named my company Idea Lab, and how much I worship the aha moment when you first come up with the idea. But then over time, I came to think that maybe the team, the execution, adaptability, that mattered even more than the idea. I never thought I'd be quoting boxer Mike Tyson on the TED stage, but he once said, "Everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face." And I think that's so true about business as well. So much about a team's execution is its ability to adapt to getting punched in the face by the customer. The customer is the true reality. And that's why I came to think that the team maybe was the most important thing. Then I started looking at the business model. Does the company have a very clear path generating customer revenues? That started rising to the top in my thinking about maybe what mattered most for success. Then I looked at the funding. Sometimes companies received intense amount of funding. Maybe that's the most important thing. And then, of course, the timing. Is the idea way too early and the world's not ready for it? Is it early, meaning you're in advance and you have to educate the world? Is it just right, or is it too late and there's already too many competitors?
Okay, so let me explain or maybe give my 2 cents on this 5 points on my current startup. So let's start with the idea. Our idea is actually for Every. We're building a browser where you can actually comment on any web page. I think commenting on any web page itself is a big idea. And I don't know why. It's been a while since browser has been invented, like 1995. So basically, I want to see in a world where, you can actually comment on any Wikipedia page. When I go to this Wikipedia page, I can see people commenting, but also see what my friends has comment. So that is our idea on Every. On the team side, me, Ed, and Alex has been working for the past years on creating a VR application called FullDive VR. It's one of the maybe most downloaded VR app on Google Play right now. So I think we have a pretty solid team that can build and code a browser such as Every. Regarding a business model, we actually don't really know how to monetize this platform. We want to start it first because I think the idea is great and people will use it. Regarding the funding, we're very, very lucky to have investors that has invested us on our VR application, and he also agreed to invest us on this project. And so we thank God because we got the funding nicely. And timing. Is this the right timing to build a social browser? I think it is, because in the past 20 years we've been using browser, and until now there's actually no such tool that can actually allows web browsers, basically all of us who use the internet, to leave our comments there. So I think, and the penetration rate of the internet has been 99% in the United States alone. We want to build this available for both mobile and also PC. And yeah, this is just the right timing. I don't know if it's the right timing, but my gut tell me it's the right timing. So why not we build it before somebody else does? So let's continue to the video.
So I tried to look very carefully at these 5 factors across many companies. And I looked across all 100 Idealab companies and 100 non-Idealab companies to try and come up with something scientific about it. So first, on these Idealab companies, the top 5 companies, CitySearch, CarsDirect, GoTo, NetZero, Tickets.com, those all became billion-dollar successes. And the 5 companies on the bottom, Z.com, Insider Pages, MyLife, Desktop Factory, People Inc., we all had high hopes for, but didn't succeed. So I tried to rank across all of those attributes how I felt those companies scored on each of those dimensions. And then for non-Idealab companies, I looked at wild successes like Airbnb and Instagram and Uber and YouTube and LinkedIn, and some failures, Webvan, Cosmo, Pets.com, Flues, and Friendster.
So Bill is actually comparing what successful companies does and what the non-successful companies in terms of this 5 factors. So I'm just going to fast forward again and see the results.
Number 1 thing was timing. Timing accounted for 42% of the difference between success and failure. Team and execution came in second, and the idea, the differentiability of the idea, the unique idea, that actually came in third. Now, this isn't absolutely definitive. It's not to say that the idea isn't important. But it very much surprised me that the idea wasn't the most important thing. Sometimes it mattered more when it was actually timed. The last 2, business model and funding, made sense to me, actually. I think business model makes sense to be that low because you can start out without a business model and then add one later if your customers are demanding what you're creating. And funding, I think as well. If you're underfunded at first, but you're gaining traction, especially in today's age, it's very, very easy to get intense funding. So now let me give you some specific examples about each of these. So take a wild success like Airbnb, everybody knows about. Well, that company was famously passed on by many smart investors because people thought, no one's going to rent out a space in their home to a stranger. Well, of course, people proved that wrong. But one of the reasons it succeeded, aside from a good business model, a good idea, great execution, is the timing. That company came out right during the height of the recession when people really needed extra money. And that maybe helped people overcome their objection to renting out their own home to a stranger.
So here you go. Timing is actually the most important factor between this 5, and funding is actually the last factor. He also mentioned that business model is pretty important, but you can actually develop the business model later once the product is out and you have actually people who actually use your product.
Same thing with Uber. Uber came out, incredible company, incredible business model, great execution too, but the timing was so perfect for their need to get drivers into the system. Drivers were looking for extra money. It was very, very important.
And mobile application is on the rise. Bill actually didn't mention that, but if there's no mobile applications that supports the whole Uber system, I don't think Uber will be in its position these days.
And then some of our failures. We started a company called Z.com. It was an online entertainment company. We were so excited about it. We raised enough money. We had a great business model. We'd even signed incredibly great Hollywood talent to join the company. But broadband penetration was too low in 1999, 2000. It was too hard to watch video content online. You had to put codecs in your browser and do all this stuff. And the company eventually went out of business in 2003. Just 2 years later, when the codec problem was solved by Adobe Flash, and when broadband penetration crossed 50% in America, YouTube was perfectly timed. Great idea, but unbelievable timing. And in fact, YouTube didn't even have a business model when it first started. It wasn't even it was certain that that would work out. But that was beautifully, beautifully timed.
See, that's timing. Timing is the single most important factor that makes a startup succeed.
So what I would say in summary is execution definitely matters a lot. The idea matters a lot, but timing might matter even more. And the best way to really assess timing is to really look whether consumers are really ready for what you have to offer them, and to be really, really honest about it, not be in denial about any results that you see. Because if you have something you love, you want to push it forward, but you have to be very, very honest about that factor on timing. As I said earlier, I think startups can change the world and make the world a better place. I hope some of these insights can maybe help you have a slightly higher success ratio and thus make something great come to the world that wouldn't have happened otherwise. Thank you very much. Been a great audience.
All right, that'll be all for today. I'll see you guys in my next video then. Thank you for watching.